Greetings, and here is the Global Take with me, Ariel Cohen. As the Biden administration is rolling into Washington, among the most important things on its agenda is going to be the environmental policy. Almost 180 degrees turn away from the oil and gas policies of Donald Trump's and return to the traditional Democrat, Obama era and beyond green policies. What does it mean? First of all, Joe Biden is going to bring the US back to the Paris Climate Accords. And these are volunteer accords. These are not treaties. Why? Because the Senate will not ratify such a treaty. But at the same time, this is a guidance for the US to cut our emissions. And the Biden's goal is to have zero emission, to be carbon neutral by 2050. So pretty much a long time, 30 years. But in energy, 30 years is not such a long time. These are very capital intensive, long-term projects, whether it's a nuclear reactor, a gas field, an LNG plant, or even a thermal power station. The other thing that's going on, and the Biden administration will incentivize it, is a lot of our thermal power stations that are running on coal, some of them running on gas, are at the end of the useful life cycle, and they will try to build up the renewable capacity to boost the renewables. It's a long shot because, as I mentioned before, we do not have the storage capacity to store this energy that is generated by the sun and the wind. And some of the far left folks, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, think this is not enough. They want the Green New Deal. And believe it or not, 87% of the American Democratic voters are supporting the Green New Deal, probably not knowing a lot what is in there. Next, Biden will commit $400 billion to clean energy research in the coming years, for 10 years. He will pursue a global moratorium on offshore drilling in the Arctic and reestablish, as I said, climate change as a priority for the Arctic Council, a number of countries around the Arctic Ocean. He will phase out subsidies for fossil fuels and make climate change a national security priority. It all sounds very well, but there are a number of legislative barriers to that. First of all, with the very narrow margin of error in the Senate, pretty much 50-50 with the Vice President Kamala Harris to break the ties, the Democrats will not have the filibuster-proof majority on the legislation that is dealing with the climate change. So it'll be a clash of titans between the renewables lobby and the oil and gas lobby in the US Congress and in the Senate. And we will see that in 2022, in the oil, gas, and coal states, the fossil fuels will play a tremendous role in getting folks to vote. Next, I would say that there's one senator from West Virginia, a coal state, that will be absolutely key to any legislation in the forthcoming climate legislation before Congress. This is Joe Manchin. He is a Democrat senator from a mostly Republican state that voted 42% for Trump versus 39% for Joe Biden. For Joe mentioned protecting and saving some of these oil and gas stakes is extremely important to be reelected in his state. He may trade his support for such new democratic priorities like statehood for DC, for District of Columbia, or for Puerto Rico, in exchange for the Democrats not destroying oil and gas and coal in West Virginia. So it will be a bumpy ride for the new Green Deal and for the oil and gas proponents in the House and the Senate. I think personally that economics need to guide our energy policy, as well as things like employment and the quality of the environment. So this is not a one-size-fits-all. It is a political system that brings together competing interests. Yes, the environment is absolutely important. The global warming, quality of our air. Nobody wants to breathe in the coal ash, for example, and get sick with chronic obstructive lung disease, God forbid. But at the same time, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of jobs. We're talking about things that make sense economically, and we're talking about a razor-thin Senate balance of power between the Republicans and the Democrats. With all that, I think that this is an important national priority, and Joe Biden has a challenge of bringing the nation together after the current disruption, if not to say political disaster that we just had in Washington. And I wish Biden and his administration, as well as the Republicans, the best of luck in doing the nation's business, including in the energy area. This was The Global Take.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to get more content like this.